What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is the 15th of June. We're going to take a look at the markets, some of the stock market futures and ETFs that we are currently long as this market does continue to move to the upside. I'm going to share some of those positions and some of my thoughts on them moving forward here. So hope everybody's doing well. Cryptocurrency markets are still cooling off. We have a little update so far in Bitcoin. We're going to jump into that shortly here, but we wanted to cover some of this US stock stuff. So anyways, welcome to the channel, guys. So we're going to start this off. We are looking at the E-mini S&P 500 futures. So we are currently in the Septembers, went into the Septembers on Friday morning. So if we look at these, we have been continuing higher, which is very nice to see. Didn't think the markets were going to turn around, especially after we started to get this pretty aggressive pullback here, put in a lower high pullback. Did print a nice higher low, though, and man, did we take off like a rocket. Little resistance when we got back to the highs here that were in early April, but then we continued to put in some new higher lows and higher highs. So we're long these. We're about 72 or so points in the green, in the positive here for this position. S&Ps haven't been taking off as much as the NASDAQ. Things are a little quiet the past 3 days after we reversed on Wednesday the 12th. And we have these telephone pole looking candles here. So we'll see what happens if it can actually continue its momentum higher or not. It's looking like it's having a little bit of trouble, but it's not selling off aggressively yet. So we're just staying in this position and continue to allow our stops to do their job, and that is take us out if the markets do not rise. So like I said, probably about 72 or so points in the green on this, and we are in the SEPs for now. So we'll see how much higher this run will go before we get any kind of meaningful pullback, similar to what we saw over here, where we started to pull back, but then the markets broke out again. So we'll see what happens here. Once again, long the E-mini S&P 500 futures, the micros. We are long the micros, not the full size contracts. And like I said, went into the Septembers on Friday. So that's that for the S&P. It looks good. You can see the SPX on the right-hand side of my screen here actually closed down on the day. 2.4, so $2, nothing too crazy there. Let's check out so we're actually long as well the VGT, which is the Vanguard Information Tech ETF. We're long that in a Vanguard account. That's been doing very well along with the NASDAQ. I mean, it's basically mimics what the NASDAQ is doing. And that has been on an absolute tear. NVIDIA probably started that one, and everything kind of followed suit in the NASDAQ. So yeah, we're long this for, let's see here, we're probably about, if we had to pull back here, roughly, let's see here. So this would be probably about 30 points or so. We're in this position right now. Long from, I believe it's around the 550 area, and we're currently at 579. So 580 roughly. Not too bad. My concern with this is we're getting a very nice breakout. We had a little bit of a pause on Thursday, and hey, the markets actually continued up on Friday. I was surprised. We rolled the micro NASDAQ futures, which we are long, into the Septembers. So we're in the September micro, the E-mini micro NASDAQ futures, and those continue to the upside on Friday, which I was surprised to see, but allowing the position to do what the position does and adjusting the stops accordingly. My concern with the NASDAQ right now is this big gap right here. Um, you can call it a breakaway gap. Okay. At some point, it'll probably get filled, but it's a concern of mine, but I'm not going to allow uh, myself to close a position because there's a gap, and that's what the stop is for. So at some point, the stop will take us out of the position, whether the gap is closed at that point or not. Doesn't really matter to me. That's why we have the stops in place. They're already predetermined. They do their job. There's also a gap down here, you could argue as well. So that's obviously still open and the market's way, way higher. So we'll see. Markets, don't go straight up forever. We have pullbacks. We have sideways consolidations. So far, I mean, this thing is starting to go a little vertical, a little bit of a concern. But hey, once again, that's why we have stops in place. About 30 or so points in the positive for this VGT ETF, this Vanguard ETF. Looks like we closed up 224 on Friday. Let's take a look. So that was the S&Ps. That was the VGT. Something else we are currently long is the NASDAQ, the tqqqs, the Ultra Pro QQQ. We have been long as well. We're long from roughly the 65 area, 64 area. So that's about a 10 point, $10 in the green so far on this. Looks very similar to what the NASDAQ is going to look like. This also has an open gap down here at the 68 to 70 area roughly. Again, trends are continuing higher for now. We have stops in place that will take us out of the position when the position starts to roll over and go south. But for now, it's higher, so we'll just continue to hold it as the trend unfolds here, and we'll see how high it goes, or see how far the pullback goes. Either way, it's heading higher. Also had an update on Friday, up. Looks like not too much, 1.45%. Had a couple of big days recently. I'm surprised to see the markets actually go up on a Friday, but that's the beauty of having a position on with a predetermined stop in place. You never know what the markets are going to do. You can think they're oversold. You can think they're overbought. They can go much higher. They can go much lower. Let your stops do their job. So that's the tqqs. We are long, roughly about $9 or $10 in the green right now. So we covered the S&Ps. We covered the VGT. We also covered the tqqs. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ futures. I mentioned we are long the micro NASDAQ futures. Let's see if we can get those here. We are also in the Septembers as of Friday morning. So here they are, long these for a while. We're long these from the low 19,000s. This candle right here. So this is the 13th of June. That was Thursday. That candle, if you would have asked me, that candle looked like we were at some kind of a short-term top here. Okay, I mean, we rallied. We closed, mid-range. We closed unchanged. And the markets went up on Friday, 81 points. Nothing too crazy, but they went up. So, hey, we have stops in place. Again, we'll allow this thing to do its job. This is up a couple hundred points in the micro NASDAQ futures. Those are $2. The S&P micros are $5 a point. These are $2. Like I said, this is up a couple hundred points. Once again, this is starting to get pretty vertical. I don't know how long this will last. You could see we go on these pretty vertical rises here in price. Then we get a pretty sharp pullback, and then it continues. But hey, it's breaking out, so I'm not going to argue with it, of course. And we'll just see how long it lasts. We'll see if the markets are going to rally into the election. Are they going to rally right through the election? Are they going to top out just before the election on the election night? be a wild time to own the futures, in my opinion, on the night of the election, where they're uh, calculating all the votes, etc. But like I said, we are long the micro E-mini NASDAQ futures. We are in the SEPs. We have stops in place. This is a couple 100 points in the green right now. The E-mini S&P micro S&P futures, we are long as well. Long the tqqs, long the VGT, and a couple other products in there. So we'll see. Something that doesn't look too hot right now is the Russell. Let's see if we can get the Russell futures on here. The E-mini Russell. Here's the RTYs. So we have orders working in here. We're trying to get along these, but they are not going higher. So here's the SEPs, which we would be going into. So we had a pretty bullish day take place on the 12th of June. And then we just quickly lost that on Thursday and Friday, actually putting in new lows on Friday. So that's unfortunate. Something positive, though, is this descending channel here can actually lead to a massive, massive breakout to the upside. When, I don't have those answers, we could see a waterfall move first to the downside like this. That can mark a bottom, and then the markets can rally from there. But it's, here's an example right here. We have this descending channel here, which led to a, almost 100% retrace back to the upside. Here's a descending channel here. We'll see. Who knows when it bottoms? So far, it's still making new daily lows. That's not good. We want to start to make new daily higher lows, but who knows when that will take place. But like I said, we're not long this. We're not short this. We're flat. We would like to be long this, but it's not going higher. It's continuing to go lower. Also, something else that isn't looking the greatest, or at least lagging the other indices, is let's go to the Dow. So Dow Jones, get rid of this. We're not long the Dow either. Usually don't trade the Dow. Sometimes we will. See, the Dow Jones should be up here somewhere. There's there's tons of products out there. We typically just trade the S&P micros as well as the NASDAQ and the Russell. So here is the Dow Jones E-mini micros, the YMs. You can see again here, this thing is not moving higher. Basically, the only thing moving higher right now is the NASDAQ, and the S&Ps are trying to keep up, but not doing as well, but they are moving higher. This thing is not looking good. We'll see if this actually rolls over and makes a new lower low. It's got a little head and shoulders look to it, something of concern. That could take us down quite a bit. We'll see how it does. Hey, maybe, just maybe, it'll print a higher low here. Just call it Friday, and it'll actually take off to the upside, putting in a new higher high. I don't know what it's going to do. We're not long this. It's lagging the market along with the Russell. The only things that are doing really well right now is the S&Ps and tech in the NASDAQ. So, hey, time will tell. Again, I don't really trade the Dow. The general public kind of look at the Dow Jones and they're like, oh, the market's up, the market's down. The traders and, the people who are a little bit more serious kind of pay attention to the S&Ps and then the NASDAQ and the Russell. I like to trade the Russell, but the Russell's not doing well right now. At some point, it'll shine again, but the small caps are it's not their time. So anyways, just wanted to share some of those. We'll see what happens, guys. Do you think the markets will continue higher, or are they going to roll over? Is the Dow an early indicator that, hey, this little tech rally we're getting is going to be short-lived? Once if the Dow breaks lower here at this little topping pattern, is it going to take the S&Ps and tech down with it? If that happens, I don't know what's going to happen or not. But I can tell you that this doesn't look quite bullish by any means. Who knows what will happen, though. All right, guys, that's my thoughts here. We're long tech. We're long the S&Ps. We would like to get long the Russell, but it's not doing too well, at least for now. At least it's in a descending channel, which could be a bullish pattern, taking us higher in price. You guys have a great weekend. Let me know your thoughts on the markets, and we'll see how long tech and the S&Ps can rally. You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. Of course, not financial advice. If you are not yet a subscriber, join us here on the channel. Good luck out there.